Love tomatoes. I am a huge fan of tomatoes. My dad, and I've told Rochelle this story, used to go out to the garden with a salt shaker in his pocket, and he had cherry tomatoes and he had the beefsteak tomatoes. He would go out literally and pick one off, put salt on it, and take a bite out of it in the garden. And he'd be like, and he was right. He goes, there are many vegetables you can get from the store that kind of taste the same. You know, cucumbers are kind of like that, some squash, but things like tomatoes, corn on the cob, you know, when you get that fresh, there is nothing on this earth that tastes like it. This is our leaf and, I almost said leaf and tomato, leaf and petal grafted tomato plant. I have two variations. I have the tie dye grafted, which you know which one the tie dye is. It's the one that's got the little striations on it. That's the tie dye. And then I also have the delicious, which is the big, this is a record setting tomato. They routinely pull 1 to 2 pound tomatoes off the vine. So either go the striated tomato, the multicolor, or you go the delicious. What I love about these is they are incredible growers. I do have some pictures of mine. I actually, Rochelle, I bought the tomato plant tower, and I actually have it at my house. You actually will have a picture of the tower too, Kyle. I think you gotta keep flicking through. But my tomatoes are growing great. I absolutely love them. Let's talk about this first one, which is our two different versions. These things are huge, and they are juicy, sweet, and delicious.
So you will need supports for these. So the deal with this is these are grafted tomatoes, which means that what we've done is we've taken rootstock of tomatoes that have been bred for hardiness and heat resistance and being able to handle lower water and also deal with some of the soil problems that can plague tomatoes like blight and things like that. And we've grafted on heirloom tomato tops. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. Heirloom tomatoes, you know, are the older varieties that we've carried on from generation to generation that we know and love because they are so dang delicious. I mean, they have each one a unique and special flavor. Like those tie dyes are really sweet, and then those other ones, the big red ones, why do I want to keep mighty tomatoes? That's what they are. They are the ones. They're going to be big. They're like a big beefsteak, and they're both big. But that one's kind of known for being even bigger and has that classic tomato taste. So, but the great thing is with this grafted rootstock is that if you have a problem growing tomatoes, as a lot of people do, this is going to solve the problem. So people who are in very short growing seasons, either because they're way north or because they're way south and it just gets too hot for tomatoes, these are going to set out the tomatoes first. I mean, if you have, you know, neighbors and you're all kind of planting gardens, you're going to have the first tomatoes with these. That's because these are the grafted, that stronger rootstock. Plus, you're getting these really big plants. I mean, these are like mine's like 2 feet tall, out of the box. So they're already kind of really ready to go. So you're going to get that first tomato, but they're going to throw out so many tomatoes so fast that if you're in those shortened seasons, oh, the other thing, like my parents, they live in Colorado at a slightly higher elevation. That can sometimes be tricky for tomatoes too, because they just have that shorter growing season. So if you live in one of these types of areas, you can really benefit from a grafted tomato because they're going to give you that regular tomato performance in that shorter, tighter window that you have. And then they're just going to produce so much. You know, Doug, our set support guy here, he grew these last year in Southern California. It can get kind of hot there. He got 34 tomatoes before he lost count, 25 pounds. 34 tomatoes and 25 pounds. Can you imagine? How much does that cost? 20. That's like hundreds of dollars worth of tomatoes.
And Rochelle, you know the difference between a store-bought tomato and a homegrown tomato is day and night. They are so sweet.
They're not even the same thing.
No, it's like the sugar content disappears once they put them on a shelf. And when you pick it off and you do it yourself, in fact, you saw one of the pictures of one of my tomato plants. You go out and pop it in your mouth, it's like sugar. I mean, it is so delicious. Gorgeous. I wanted to show everybody really quickly our tomato tower. We're not gonna spend time on it, but I bought this. My new tomatoes are about this high. You add levels to it as your tomato grows, and it's a cage basically. And the bottom is unique because